Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day out here in Austin, Texas. It's nice and warm to be able to walk around, which is nice. It's been kind of cold lately, but anyways, I wanted to talk about what Jungian depth psychology is not an excuse for, or what it's not used for. In the XJW community, I get attacked every once in a while in the comments. Debunked, and it's so idiotic for you to follow it. Anybody that connects any kind of emotional connection to it is just looking for ways to excuse bad behavior. Okay, well, there are people who do use depth psychology to excuse bad behavior. That's true. But the majority of the people who get into this subject, this soft science that's not concrete, that you can't put your hands on it, so you SPs fucking hate it because you need to have everything, manageable, and so you can have in your hands, otherwise you freak out. Okay, sorry, that's not the way it works. Okay, there is such things as abstract thinking and metaphysics and things like that you cannot put your hands on and actually touch and feel. Okay, lots of things that you can't explain that have substance that are there. Okay, and so you need to get that out of your damn head. There was this kid talking to me. I'm typing him as an ISTP. That's what they sound like. He's probably about 18, 20 years old, and he started using like all these big words, trying to sound smart. This is typical of them because they're SPs, and so they're going to be. He has TI hero, and he's got NI child. Okay, at that age, he hasn't developed his parent function, so he's not really able to give other people a good experience and understand how to be like comforting and how to be, being nice to other people. His FE inferior also hasn't been developed, and so he has no idea what other people value, so he just says stuff that he hears and reads, and he's come to his own conclusion. ISTPs are incredibly arrogant and incredibly stubborn, bullheaded at a young age. Later on in life, they become very, very nice people. Anyways, I digress. And so it's interesting that someone that was accusing me of using, Jungian psychology to excuse my bad behaviors, meanwhile, he's doing bad behaviors that did not offend me because myself, understanding what type he was, gave him a pass. Now, people who get into this, typically for the most part, are trying to understand themselves, understand their place in this world. The vast majority of people who get into MBTI, Jungian psychology, read Dr. Beebe, Dr. Linda Behrens, Dr. Kiersey, and they get into these different things, are typically abstract people because we already naturally think in abstract ways, and the concrete isn't necessarily so important to us. Okay? We also have to go through life living in a world that makes no fucking sense to us. Okay? Because the world is concrete, the world is ran by SJs, the world is ran by SPs, and we feel like an alien race there. And so that we look for other things out there, and that's just the way it is. Now, granted, later on in life, you'll see SPs and SJs getting more into philosophy, more into psychology, and more into the more abstract ideas because they're aspiring to that side of their mind. Okay? And then the abstracts get more concrete later on in life, get more grounded, figure out who we are, but it takes us longer to get to that point because we're in fucking space, And so that's just the way it is. And so what typology is not an excuse to be able to enable yourself to do bad behavior. Just because you're an ENTJ who's triple pragmatic with FE demon doesn't give you a right to be an asshole at all times, okay? They do have other abilities to counteract this. My current boyfriend's an ENTJ. I mean, granted, he is older and more mature than the typical 20-year-old ENTJ, but he doesn't run around being an asshole. Does he still say asshole things? Most definitely, all the time. He triggers me all the time because I'm the FE user in the relationship, he's the FI user in the relationships. And so he will say different right and wrong things that would totally trigger, what the community thinks is right and wrong. Okay, because he lacks the FE to be able to do this at depth. But I can't judge him as as an ENTP. I can't judge him as an ISFJ. I can't judge him as an INFP, because that's not what he is. Now that I understand how he's fundamentally wired and how he looks and views of the world, I can only judge him as an ENTJ. And so I will judge him on different beliefs, he'll say, and things like that, and today I was ragging on him because I was like, why aren't you don't need to read more books, because TE users are usually very big readers. He's like, that's all I do. I said, yes, you read a lot of lawyer stuff, you read a lot of political stuff, but what about books? You don't ever read books, in concept thought, because I'm downstairs, I'm finishing up Steven Pinker's Better Lives of Our Angels or something? Better Angels of Our Lives or whatever, How Violence Has Declined. Fascinating book. I highly recommend it to anybody. It's definitely a good wake-up book for witnesses and XGWs, because it breaks down, how life is just getting better and better and better, but people just think it's getting worse and worse because we have more access to information. Anyways, I digress. And so typology isn't about finding ways to excuse yourself. It's finding ways to find yourself and improve yourself, and then you can improve others. Okay? And so I like to boast that I have a friend of all 16 types. And each friend has benefits to me. And about 16 types is not about being superior to others. It's about understanding each other, and coming to a conclusion on how the world can function better if we all understood each other better. And this includes the abstracts who are clearly prejudiced in the community, against censors. And I completely, don't agree with the way they view the world and things like that. And I'm sorry that you had an ISFJ mom that was mean to you, but that does not give you an excuse, to dismiss, 70% of the planet, And so it is not about making excuses, things like that. And my ISTP brother actually made the same exact argument about, personality tests, because it makes people make excuses for themselves, which is so funny, because the only reason this is the case is because ISTPs can make these judgment calls because they have FI demon. Their lowest function is their own personal feelings and their own personal morals and their own personal value. They don't see life that way. All they care about is what the community values is. And so if the community values this and this and this, everyone should follow it because that's what they do, because that's all they know. All they have is FE. And so all they have is ethics. They have no moral compass. And so they're just ethical people that really go along with what their community continues to be right. So if they're in a community that hates gay people, they hate gay people. If they're in a community that hates black people, they usually hate black people. If they're a community that loves black people, they love black people. So you get my drift, how it works? ENTPs can be guilty of this too. We resemble what we're around as well because we don't have our own moral compass, just like ISTPs. And so, to me, this ISTP is talking trash to me, on comments on YouTube of all places, lecturing somebody, and I don't want to sit here and look down upon his age. I mean, like, I got 16 years on him easy, please tell me, boy, how the world works, please. I mean, have you even left your house yet? I mean, Are you still breastfeeding? What the hell? Anyways. And so, yeah, they can look at things like this and it's like, oh, there's no personal growth. That's because you guys don't care about personal growth. All you care about is absorbing knowledge and processing things. Okay? And so maybe you need to work on that. You need to start aspiring into your ENFJ, aspiration, and then start realizing that there's a lot more to this life than what you can put your hands on and what you can build. Okay? That's my end rant of ISTPs. But anyways, and so this is all about improving yourself, figure out who you are, and then figure out who your family is, and then figure out who your coworkers are, and then figure out who your neighbors are, and then figuring out everybody you meet, who they are, and bettering relationships. And this will improve your life, their lives, and everyone's around your life. And then you can be a person like me that runs around, saying what they want and not really having any kind of issues with that, because I can just keep looking at the world with objective eyes and saying, hey, this person's this way, they're going to be like this, this, and this, and this. I shouldn't say this, this, and this, and this will make our relationship better, you know? And then you just run around in life getting along with everybody. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? I mean, I hope this is still in the genesis of this soft science. It's a genesis that hopefully one day, as education progresses, people can go to school based on their type. You know, maybe we can't afford to have 16 different types of schools, but maybe we can have 4 different types of schools, you know, SP school, or maybe a starter school based on interactions and things like that. Oh, that sounds really chaotic though, to have a bunch of starters all in one classroom. Okay, maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. But anyways, so those are my thoughts on that.